The Handsome Gambler podcast. One goal, clean sweep, 5 fights, riding or dying, every UFC card. I'm going to start the show off a little bit different. Folks, I am not a financial advisor. If I was, I wouldn't have made any of my picks from last week. I went 0 for 3 and chose 2 canceled fights. Would have only been worse had I went 0 for 5. As always, I'm going to jump into a recap before we bounce back. So the recap, I had Ludovic Klein over Matthias Gamrot. Had me completely misread with Ludovic Klein's 91% takedown defense. That dude got taken down and sat on top of for the entire 15 minutes. Just Mateus is still on the top of his game. I was expecting him to regress a little bit, and it just did not happen. Had the read wrong, and Ludovic got sat on for 15 minutes. Moving on down the line, I had Dvalishvili over Alan Nascimento. Dvalishvili was winning the stand-up of that fight, and he kept on making bad fight IQ mistakes, and ending up on the bottom. And Alan Nascimento would not let him get up, and just won that fight off of octagon control. It wasn't that his takedowns were so good. It wasn't that his hands looked so great. I think this is more about the mistakes that Dvalishvili made more than it was about how good Alan Nascimento looked. Alan Nascimento looked horrible. Worst fight I've ever seen him in the UFC. Alan Nascimento looked horrible. His timing was off. He was not landing any ground and pound. If he would have landed any less strikes, I'm going to say he would have lost the fight. He would have lost the fight had he landed any less strikes. It was just not a typical or good performance from either of the individuals. It was a weird card. It was a very weird card, and I took an L on that one too. And then I had Billy Ray Goff over Ramiz Brahimaj. This came with a caveat. I said Brahimaj was submission or bust. Brahimaj got the submission and busted me straight in the fucking face. Embarrassing for how good or how easy he made it look. He looked like $1 million in there. First round submission, exactly how he needed it to be. We had 3 losses, 2 canceled fights, but that leaves me for 1 epic bounce back at UFC 316 this weekend. We're going to jump into the picks. I'm going to take Dvalishvili to basically continue the ass whooping that he was giving Sean O'Malley at the end of their last fight. My take on this is that you cannot teach 5-3. Merab, that skill set cannot be taught. 5-3 spams takedowns, endless cardio. Like, it's just a style that you can't find somebody that can come and train with you to mimic that. He can chin guys of regular stature. He could probably chin guys even a little bit taller than him, meaning Sean. But chinning somebody that's 5'3", that's a tough sell. So I'm going to give Merab winning a decision, octagon control time, whole bunch of takedowns, whole bunch of laying on top of Sean and just winning cage control time. Continuation of their last fight. Moving on down the line, I'm going to take Kayla Harrison and New. I feel like she has the power advantage. She has the better base for mixed martial arts advantage. The top 3 bases for mixed martial arts right now: combat, sambo, judo, jiu-jitsu, in that order. She has a judo gold medal. And we all remember Ronda Rousey. We all remember Carla Parisian. Well, I can't say we all. We all remember Ronda Rousey. Some of us remember Cairo Parisian. But judo is a great base for MMA. And I think that eventually they end up in the clinch. And Kayla sends Juliana for a ride, ends up on top, and either that wins her the round or the fight, and so on and so forth. They'll fight till they end up in the clinch. Kayla will win the clinch, win the round. I got Kayla winning by decision, I believe. Juliana's tough. Take Kayla Harrison by decision and new. Going on down the line, I'm going to take Wang Kong over Ariana Da Silva. This is more about the fade of Ariana Da Silva than it is how good Wang Kong is. Ariana Da Silva has 10 losses. She loses to girls like Molly McCann and Baby Chevy. Shevchenko's the little Shevchenko sister, not even the badass, not the bullet, the minigun. She loses to the minigun, the BB gun, mini Shevchenko. And I think that Kong Wang's just really good. She'll swing. She's powerful. She sprawls takedowns. They call her the Joker. The girl's the truth. Even in her fight where she lost to Gabby Fernandez, that was a back and forth until Gabby dropped her and then was able to secure the choke. It wasn't one way for either of them. I feel like that fight was going back and forth, and we were going to end up in a split decision if that fight goes to the cards. It's just happened that she got chinned, and then Gabby jumped on her back. Da Silva doesn't really have fights where they're back and forth. She's either winning or she's losing. And most of the time, I feel like she's losing. Even the fights she wins, she goes through losing moments of the fights that she wins. I don't feel like this is going to be a back and forth. I feel like this is all Wang Kong. She's going to be on top dominating or winning the striking exchanges. Give Wang Kong by decision. And moving on to my next pick. I'm going to take Joe Piper over Kevin Gastelum. He's bigger, he's taller, he's got the youth advantage. I feel like he has this fight covered on all bases. It's just how the finish happens. Kevin Gastelum has not been looking good. Be honest, he hasn't looked good since the Sean Brady loss. And it doesn't help that Sean and Joe Piper actually chained together. I don't think that Kevin Gastelum is taking the game of fighting serious anymore. I think he's showing up for a paycheck. He doesn't plan on winning this fight. He's just going to lose either via knockout or decision because he needs a check. I think he's towards the end of his career. He's probably the oldest 33-year-old fight-wise in the UFC is what I would say. He's probably the oldest 33-year-old fight-wise in the UFC. So we're going to move on down the line to my fifth fight. I'm going to take Joshua Van over Bruno Silva. He's younger. He has the striking advantage. He has great takedown defense. I think this is going to be a very workman-like performance for Joshua Van. Joshua Van's a slow starter. So he kind of like moves into the fight as the fight goes on. So he's kind of like throwing, meandering his way through the first, and he has a higher output in the second, and then the highest output in the third. And I feel like his opponent is looking for that kind of fight also because he's 35. So we had a slow starter fight-wise against a slow starter because of his age. And I feel like he'll win the fight via decision, as he'll probably win the first round 9-10, win the second round 8-10, and then win the third round 7-10 or worse. He might have some knockdowns. He could even finish him in the third. Van gets good. He gets very good as the fight goes on. He gets a lot better. He kind of moves into the fight. So I feel like it's going to happen in this fight. It's just a workmanlike 15-minute decision is what's going to pan out in this fight. Joshua Van by decision. So we made it through another episode of the Handsome Gambler podcast. Play smart, stay sharp, bet with charm, and win with style. I am the Handsome Gambler, and I'm cashing out. See you next week, folks.
It's the greatest team of all time. That squad right there.